Welcome to the webinar. Today, TextBroker will be presenting a webinar on content strategy for online merchants. First, I'd like to introduce you to TextBroker. TextBroker is a custom content creation company, creating content such as blog posts, travelogues, product descriptions, white papers, press releases, and more. TextBroker will be working with Vendio to supply inexpensive content for online sellers, so look for that shortly. TextBroker was founded in 2007, covers 9 languages, providing content for major retailers such as eBay. They have over 100,000 US-based authors who are ready, willing, and able to write for you. TextBroker has produced more than 2 million pieces of content in the US alone. In this webinar, we'll be looking at defining and understanding your customer, defining your brand, creating content for your website, and promoting your content. The first question we need to ask is, why do you need content? And why do you need a content strategy? Well, if you sell motorcycles, then poems about pretty posies or other flowers are not going to help you get traffic or the conversions you need to be successful. So you'll need to think about the types of content that you'll need and the subjects of the content that you'll need. To help you develop a strategy, you'll want the answers to what content to create and how am I going to define my content needs. There are really 4 phases of thinking about content. First, you'll want to define and understand your customers. Then, define and understand your brand. Then, build your website content, and then promote your website content. We'll go through these 4 in this order, mainly because if you understand your customers, or if your understanding of your customers is off, it's going to be a lot harder to create and promote the content that you're going to be putting on your website. So you'll want to start with your customers. If you're a motorcycle site, then what kind of motorcyclists are you attracting? Are we looking for the cruisers, the Harley guys, those who take long road trips through scenic areas? Or are we looking for the street bikers who do wheelies and tricks and racing? Or are we looking for someone, like in the third picture, who use their bikes to commute for daily riding? Each one of these customer segments has a really different need, and therefore we'll want to approach them differently. We want to offer them different products, and we want to talk about their products in a slightly different way. So how do we figure out who our audience is? There are a few ways to do that. First of all, we'll want to look at demographics, locations, customer histories. Then we'll want to look at social signals. And through both of these things, we'll get a better understanding of our customers' motivations and their needs. And when we understand those, we can work on creating content that speaks to those needs and speaks to the motivation to increase conversions. A good method to look at demographics is to use Google Analytics. We'll give you a quick snapshot here so that you'll know where to go to get the information that you're going to need to do your research. This screenshot is from the traffic source section of Google Analytics. We've put a star next to the most important areas of research to dig into so that you know where your traffic is coming from. And the first section is under Search Engine Optimization. Queries are what people are putting into the search engine and then clicking through to your site. So this displays the actual queries. These are not the keywords you're bidding on, not the things you're trying to promote, but from the customer side, what's leading them to you. The next 2 items are under Advertising and AdWords. If you're running an AdWord campaign, these are really important. You'll also be able to find them in your AdWords administration panel. Your keywords are the terms that you specifically are bidding on. What's more telling is the matched queries. Matched queries are the terms that were entered into the search engine. Your ad came up, they click on your ad, so this will give you more information about the term that they are looking for, and it's very interesting as to what other long tail keywords your customer is using to find your core keywords. Just an example, at TextBroker, I might be bidding on the term insurance content. Well, there's also a phrase that is content insurance, namely insuring the contents of a storage unit, a building, or a home. We didn't think about that when we were doing our keywords, and it's really illuminating for us to see the match queries of what people are searching for and clicking our ad for. With this information, we can optimize what we're doing PPC-wise, but we can also start to create content that better matches the long-tail keyword if we wanted to. So to go back to our motorcycle example, if we have motorcycle helmets as a keyword and folks are looking for bright red motorcycle helmets, then we can say, let's start to create pages that talk about the colors of helmets, the history of the colors of helmets, and what they mean on the race circuit. Google Analytics provides data you can use to do some content research, idea research, and to understand what your customers are looking for. And even getting into that deeper long tail keyword that gives you more depth. You'll also want to review the Google Ad Planner. If you're running ads or your competitors are running ads, you can see these through the Google AdWords program. You can also go into the Ad Planner and see a lot of interesting demographic information. This information from motorcycle.com, we have an age breakdown, we have a gender breakdown, and what is interesting about the age breakdown is that the majority, not by much, but slightly, is the 45 to 54 age range, and that they're mostly male. So already we see that in general, the visitors that go to motorcycle.com are generally a bit older. Also, we have two really important things here: sites also visited and audience interest. The site also visited allows you to do some more competitive research and see who else is in the space. I'm sure you all have a good idea of who else is in your specific space, but this might show you some sites that you're not yet aware of. And when you have that kind of evidence that you're directly competing with you, then you can get in a better position yourself as a company through content, basically what they do. And finally, the most interesting portion of Google Ad Planner is your audience interest. So here for motorcycle.com, we see Suzuki, racing, scooters, Honda. So whatever your original thought was for a site like motorcycle.com, with these interests, we can see that the users and the visitors for this site skew towards racing. We don't see Harley Davidson in here. We don't see cruisers in here. So we have to adjust slightly to what we need to address in our content for this site. The social universe is another area to use for research. In this graphic, I have your brand as the center of the universe, and it's the closest thing to your brand is your customers. So one thing you can do is go and find your customers in social media. Are your customers using Facebook? Are they using Twitter? Are using Pinterest? Or are they not using any of these at all? If your customers are not using it, then it's not important for you, with one exception. You'll want to use Google+, because it will help you with your SEO. But if your customers are on Facebook, you'll want to be on Facebook. If your customers are on Twitter, you'll want to be on Twitter. So how do I find where my customers are? If you're already in business, you have a customer database. You can start looking up customers in different social media programs. If you have time to do only one or the other, you can open up a Facebook page or open up a Twitter account, or just start doing research as to who is there. At Text Broker, we're business to business, so we find that most of our customers are on Twitter. As retailers or merchants, you're probably going to have good luck with Facebook, but you'll have to test it out to see where your customers specifically are. If you use Twitter, I'd recommend that you use Twitter for research purposes, if nothing else, because it can really give you insights on trends and current issues. If you use Twitter, you can follow your customers, your partners, your vendors, industry leaders, and if you want to, your competitors. Finally, you'll want to use purchase histories and internal data. You'll want to look at, of course, your own internal data, your best sellers based on location, gender, and age. These are your great products, and you'll want to continue to promote them. You'll also want to look at pages with high traffic but low sales. Because if people are coming to your pages and not buying, there's something about this that is not quite working for the customer. Content may be what's not working. And finally, Talk to your customer service and salespeople. They're the closest contact to your clients and customers, and they'll tell you what's hot, what's not, where the problems are, and then you can create content to either solve problems, reduce customer service issues, or to promote items that may not be selling as well as you'd like. So, what do we want out of all of this work and research? We want to create some audience personas. For example, maybe we have an audience persona who's a mom, 35 to 45. She wants organic materials. She only wants the best, and that might be for a fashion site, for fashion retailers. Now, we saw with our motorcycle example, we have males, usually 45 to 55, and then from further interest, we saw that they tend to actually buy sportier bikes and sportier bike equipments. For a video game site, for example, you might have a single male 18 to 25 who lives at home. So that's where we're looking to get out of all this research, so we know who we are talking to. Then we'll also want to generate interest lists, so we know what to talk about. On top of that, we want some pain points. So what do these people need? What do my customers need? What's his pain? And what's he missing that I can provide? Some keywords, of course, and we'll want to know where those interests coincide. And finally, general, broader content ideas. We don't need to flesh these out right away, but we'll want some ideas based on our research. So, we've covered how to figure out our audience, who they are, what they like, and where their pain points are, and how to get them to buy. So next, we'll go over defining your brand. And now, it's all about you, your company, and your niche. Let's look at some branding basics. The first question you want to answer is, who are you? At the end of the day, customers want to know who they're buying from. So here are just a few questions to help you build trust with your customers. Who are you? Why do you open a shop? Why do you have these products? Why not other ones? Once you have those in mind, we'll work on those a little bit. You can build some branding guidelines to make sure that content constantly talks to your customers from your point of view. So what do I mean by that? Let's take a look at the branding guidelines for Best Buy. For example, they talk about 3 characteristics: genuine, clear, and fun. Genuine advocates for the customer. Best Buy's trying to position themselves not as in we're trying to sell you, but okay, we know that you've come, you've looked at our stuff, and if you think we have the best customer service, you'll buy from us instead. When thinking about the stuff like custom electronics, although they are very intuitive, you're looking for devices with a lot of oomph. So Best Buy says, we're going to break it down for you and keep it simple. But we're going to give you information as a consultative process instead of a sales process. This is a good example of how to look at branding. How you kind of want to go about branding is really understanding your customers, then understanding how you want to interact with them, and when those two come together, you have your branding guidelines. Next, let's look at creating content for your website. There are 4 main areas we're going to cover: landing pages, about us pages, category pages, and product pages. First, any page can be a landing page, so you want to make sure that all the pages on your website are welcoming, clear, and they drive in answering a question immediately. This is the goal of a landing page. You'll want your keywords well placed on your landing page. You'll want them in the title, the description, and you'll want your content page to have a call for action, especially in landing pages that are created specifically for unique queries. So what I found in my research is that if you're looking for general items, we get a lot of category pages, and we'll talk about how we can turn the category pages into landing pages in just a bit. About Us pages are probably one of the most underused pages on any retail site. People are more likely to buy from a person or a company that they trust and who is like them. So when creating an About Us page, you'll want to show your human side. You'll want to be a person or a company that a consumer can trust, and you'll want to show your passion for the industry. Shoppers come to your site because they really want something that you're selling. Tell them why. Tell them why you like the products. You have a reason. You think they're good quality and you think they're great value, or that there is something amazing about them. So go ahead and say why you like having an online store and make yourself accessible to your customer. Category pages are another underused asset for online sellers. You have all of these products around here, and that's great. Adding in just a little bit of text to clarify what we're talking about and what else relates can really help your SEO and your conversion. One major retailer inserted category descriptions and raised their ranking in the search engines by about 5%. The description gave just a little bit of added value to the searches, and they linked other related category items, and those internal links helped making navigating the site easier so people could find exactly what they're looking for and add to their purchases. So adding just a little bit of content to category pages can help you in multiple ways. Now let's take a look at product pages. This is manufacturer's content. It's pretty cut and dry, and that's about all there is. It just has features and specs. Now let's look at a major retailer's product page. They took the same product description and features and they added in a couple sentences. The good thing about it is they've used suggestions. You can use this for bread dough, egg white dressing, and more. Good. But why should I get this one and not another one? Now let's look at a product page from a niche retailer. We have the same scenario, that the mixer does more than just mix dough and batter. It makes it easy to prepare homemade pasta, sausage, ice cream. But what's more interesting, that instead of just a list of features, they've added the benefits. The 5-quart mixing bowl lets you prepare 7 pounds of mashed potatoes. Automatically is much more interesting than just a 5-quart mixing bowl. What will the 5-quart mixing bowl do for me? Smooth operation, powerful motor allows the mixer to make quick, smooth work of any task. So it's not just that it's big, but it's fast. This is how niche retailers can rank on the first page of KitchenAid, even with big competitors. Next, you'll want to promote your content in your pages. We've already talked a lot about social, but the big thing social does is help you get links back to your site. There are a few things that really help prepare for content for social, and one is using the right meta tags. For retailers, especially Pinterest, you'll find all these great ideas and click on the pin and nothing comes up. For both you and the consumer, you'll want your link. Your company information is the information in that pin. You'll want to use meta tags as a common thread. When creating content, if you think about creating the content with the meta tags included in the content, it speeds up the entire process. So, for example, images are important to Facebook, Google+, LinkedIn, and Pinterest, where your descriptions are good for Facebook, Google+, and LinkedIn. There are some specialty social content areas that you'll want to look for. Twitter has 140 characters, so chop off the first 40 characters and just use 100. You'll want the retweets. On YouTube, you'll want to include a transcript. This will make for better searchability, and you'll definitely want to link to your homepage above the fold in the description. In general, you'll want your content to be social ready. So know where you're going to promote it, as we talked about earlier, and specify the social elements, whether you want meta tags, tweets, little introductions, when you're drafting your content, and it will make the content promotion process much easier. To summarize, we really want to use analytics and in-house records to define our customers and use social tools to supplement that customer knowledge. We want to create our branding guide based on our customer research and our customer history and branding. Finally, we want to build our store with custom written content to compete with major retailers and to add value to our customers. And you can do easy promotions with social ready content. Thank you for attending this webinar. Text Broker will be available on Vendio soon. In the meantime, it's never too early to start thinking about your content and how it can help you sell more and be more successful. If you have any questions, please feel free to email or give us a call.